There's no intro, let's just get straight into the video. And today I'm going to show you everything that's in my backpack. I'm going to show you all the FPV gear that I use. I'm going to show you my FPV drones, and I'm going to show you all the kit that I take in my backpack. This is what I take out to the field, and it's the stuff that I fly with all the time. So we're going to get to the actual drones in a moment, but they're just clipped to the outside of this backpack. And the backpack that I'm using is the Torvol, and it's called the Pit Stop backpack. It's the smaller of the two. I think there's a Pro version which is basically a little bit bigger than this. I don't like taking a massive backpack out, and honestly this was just a bit cheaper, so this is the one that I got and I really love it. Although you do have to be quite kind of careful as to how you pack it, and there's a real art to kind of packing this thing and using the space effectively. So I'm going to show you how I've got it packed, and I'll show you all the gear that's inside. So when it unzips, it just unzips like this. You've got a little pad to put your drones on. I mean, I'm not going to do a full backpack review, by the way. I'm sure that already exists for this Torvol backpack, but basically I'll show you a couple of quick features. Like, it has a mat that comes out so you can put all your gear down if you're on a wet field, and there's plenty of wet fields about at this time of year in the UK, so that's really useful. It's got like a little magnetic pocket there so you can stick your screws to it and stuff like that. I bought the battery pack, which just slides in there. It's really satisfying, it just slides right in like that, and it's quite good really. This was an added extra, it doesn't come with a backpack, so we might as well just open that up and show you the batteries that I'm using first. So these are 6S Tattu R-Line batteries, and I find they're really good. They're actually surprisingly light. These weigh less than my 4S packs, and they're only about 25 quid each, which is not bad relatively speaking. So yeah, Tattu R-Line 1050 95C, and these I found really good. I've got just 6 of them at the moment. I've actually got a few more on the way to me at the moment, so probably good to have about 10 batteries really, or have a big charger pack that you can recharge while you're in the field. Also, I keep a few little convenient things in here as well, like this. This is absolutely amazing. I bought this when I was into the whole CineWhoop thing, and you can charge your CineWhoop batteries in this just off an XT60. So you can take one of your big packs, you can plug it in to there, and then you can just charge your CineWhoop packs. But the beauty of it is you can also just plug in any USB thing, so you can charge your phone off it, and you can like charge your GoPro, you know, whatever fits your USB. So that I always keep in there. Electrical tape, I just like to have that to hand. I'm not actually sure why that's in there. Of course, battery checker. So yeah, that's really it. And then I've got my goggle battery in there, and a spare goggle battery as well. So that's it for the batteries. They just slide in there. And then I love to just have my goggles, like, so easy to just grab, take them out, stick them on. I hate having to I used to hate having to like unzip the FatShark case, screw the antennas on individually. And I mean, these antennas are a little bit exposed, just putting it in like that. I wouldn't recommend, maybe don't do it if you're going to bang the bag a lot. Or another option is put 2 little small Omni antennas on there that are completely protected, so when it's in your bag it doesn't get bashed about. These goggles are the FatShark HD2s. They're the ones that I think Mr. Steele flew for about 4 years, and then he's actually just switched to the HD02s. And I'm planning actually on switching to the HD02s myself as well soon, because I just love the big field of view in these goggles. It's really immersive. I don't like to have any OSD on the screen at all. I'm a bit weird like that, but I love a completely naked screen just to be really immersive, and I'd like to feel like I'm an eagle or a dragon just flying around, having an amazing time. So yeah, I love a big field of view. HD2s, they do have kind of blurry edges, and I can't wait to get the HD02s just so I can fix that. Or maybe I'll even go DJI. It's a tricky one. But anyway, for now, HD2s. I got the RapidFire module. This was about, I think, 120 quid. I did have the LaForge V4, but I switched to RapidFire and it was worth it. It is really good so far. I've tested it out at a few abandoned buildings and places where there's a lot of concrete, and it is definitely performing better than the LaForge. So that's the goggle setup. This is an X-Air patch antenna, by the way, and it's really good. This antenna is an old IB Crazy Mad Mushroom antenna I've just had for ages, but really any good Omni antenna would be fine. Do you run 2 Omni antennas? Let me know. I'm not sure what is best, but I'm running a patch and an Omni for now. It seems really good. So next we've got the Taranis X9D, which just fits in there in my bag. And I've done a couple of mods to it really. One is putting Crossfire inside. So we've got the Crossfire in the back here, and then I've got the Diamond Antenna that just screws on. Unfortunately I can't get a setup where I just leave that on, so I have to put that in a little pocket there, and then just put the Taranis in like that, and every time I just screw the Diamond thing on. I've also put a little bit of Velcro on here, and then I've got one of these Boscam FPV watches. If you search on Amazon for FPV Watch Boscam, it's about 30 or 35 quid, and you just take the watch strap off, put a little bit of Velcro on, stick it on there. It even has a little antenna, and so you can watch your FPV feed like that. It looks really good on the stick cam, but it's also quite nice if someone wants to do a quick ride along. So yeah, I'd highly recommend one of those. So those are the only 2 mods. I'm actually running the stock gimbals, and I've run these since, well, early 2016 when I got this. So nearly 4 years, and the gimbals are absolutely fine. They're great. I mean, have a look at my flying. I don't think it's suffering, so I'm just going to leave the stock gimbals. I take some tools with me, of course, to the field. I say the field, but wherever I'm flying is what I mean. So when I'm out and about, if these crash, I want to be able to fix them. So I've got a soldering kit just here, and inside there I've got a TS100 soldering iron. TS100 is an absolute must. It's all I ever use. I don't even use a soldering station anymore. I just use the TS100 with this lead. I made a tutorial for how to make one of these leads if you haven't got one. So check that out. And yeah, there's some solder in there. It's good quality rosin solder. Yeah, and I've got a few other little soldering bits so I can solder in the field. Also got all the essential hex drives, they're just in there, and then a ratchet for the prop tool so I can change props nice and quick. Just grab that. Paintbrush, that's kind of an odd one. I got the paintbrush because sometimes, when you've got grass all over this, you want to just brush off that grass, and sometimes a nice soft paintbrush will just get in all those little areas that a toothbrush or something else can't get. So in those wet days where you're covered in grass, the paintbrush is a great little tip. It was my friend Chris, it might have even been Mike, who came up with that. So thanks guys, love this paintbrush. Next pocket, this is just all those little things. I'm probably not even going to bother opening this, but it's just, well, you know what, I'll open it. I've got like super glue, I've got standoffs, I've got like spare lenses for cameras, heat shrink, little XTC connectors, I've got a camera adjuster, I don't even know what you call those things, but basically anything that you might need in a field, any of those small loose bits that you just might need because you crashed and something broke or failed, they're all in there. So that is nearly it. Getting on to the last pocket, and of course I'm going to show you both of these as well in a moment, and I'll tell you all the gear that I'm running on those. But the last pocket down here, that just has all my props in it. And at the moment I'm really liking these S4, Ethics S4 lemon and lime props. These are really nice on the gear that I use, so they're great. Just got loads of them in there, and I've got a few spare bits of carbon, so I've got actually a whole spare frame in there. And then in the side pockets, I never leave the house without the deck of cards, of course. That's why I'm called Magic FPV. Let me zip this back up, and I've also got a chest cam with a load of zip ties. Last pocket up here, we've got the rain cover, and it looks like I've chucked a GoPro charger lead in there as well. So that is the entire backpack. Now let's get on to the actual aircrafts, the actual drones, the really exciting stuff. So I'm going to say right away, well, I'll start with talking about the frame, and this is a little bit controversial because the frames that I'm running are not official frames. These are just 28 quid off Amazon, and it's a Martian IV. But here's the thing, I actually ran the Reverb frame, which this is very similar to a Reverb. There's a few, I'd say there's enough changes on this to not make it a clone, but it is very close to a ImpulseRC Reverb. And I bought a Reverb, I bought a original Alien as well, even off the Rotor Riot site. Got it sent all the way over from America. It cost me about 150 quid all in all just for that Alien frame. And then when that was ruined, I went on to the ImpulseRC Reverb, which was sort of like the newest Alien. And I bought one, and then every time I would just chip the ends of it or something, and I wouldn't be able to get any spares, so I'd have to buy a whole new Reverb. And I ended up buying about 4 or 5 Reverb frames, and it was costing me a ton of money. So in the end, I just found this very similar frame for just 28 quid on Amazon Prime, and I can just get them delivered the next day. It's not as good as a Reverb, so I'd actually recommend, if you can afford it, get the ImpulseRC Reverb, or actually what looks really good at the moment is the new Apex frame. So that's another one by ImpulseRC, the Apex. It's another similar sort of frame. It's like the latest version really of the Reverb or the Alien. I love the interlocking X-arms just because it sort of gives you such a solid frame, and there's no play, nothing. So I really like a nice true, well, I'm not sure it is a true X, but an X orientation where the arms interlock. So that's the frame, and I've mentioned the props already, but the motors, I had on this actually, I've got the Zing motor. These are iFlight Zing 1700 kV, so I need the low kV because I'm running 6S. And these are really good actually. They're quite cheap, about 15 or 16 quid compared to, I've got the Mr. Steel ones on here, the Ethics Stout V2, and these are about 22 or maybe 25 pounds each, so almost double what the Zing motors cost. Here's the thing, they are better, they're definitely better, they're smoother, they're really good, but these are quite similar and they are cheaper. Inside here, talking flight electronics, I'm a big fan of the Hobbywing X-Rotor G2 is I believe what it's called. It's a stack, an ESC and flight controller stack. I also hear that the Mamba stack for just 40 quid performs very similar and is like really cheap. And then I always run a Unify Pro. I like the Unify Pros. You can go up to big milliwatts, and I just wire it directly to the camera so there's no messing about, and just get really good clean video. And I like the TBS stuff a lot, to be honest. I mean, if you've not flown it, it's good stuff. The Triumph, I've still got a classic Triumph on this. I've got a couple of the new Triumphs on the way at the moment actually, but this thing's lasted ages. So I mean, a lot of this gear is not the latest and greatest, but it works really well. The stuff that I buy is always a good price, durable, and performs well. So those are the things. So you don't want to waste your money really by spending buying things twice because they break, or buying something that doesn't perform very well and then having to buy something better. The camera, this is actually a Predator. This is how good this camera is and how well protected it is in a frame like this. This is the Predator V1, which has been out. I must have run this camera for maybe 2 years, and I've crashed a lot in that time, and it's still going. I've replaced the lens once or twice, but yeah, the Predator cameras are really good. I've got some good settings for those as well. If I can find them, I'll put them on the screen. So a lot of people have copied those Predator settings, so yeah, they might be useful to you. Good colours and that kind of thing. Absolutely, like, really low latency on this camera as well. And then we got, of course, the Immortal T antenna. This one's in a bit better condition. I stick it up here on the GoPro mount just because it's out of the way of the props, so it doesn't tend to get prop strikes. Yeah, I've got the Crossfire Nano receiver in there, which of course talks to the one in the Taranis. So yeah, Crossfire, so good. This is actually, like, you can really feel the difference on the sticks, as well as getting really good range and being able to fly a lot further. That may be it. Is that it? Is that really all there is on an FPV drone? Or have I missed something? I'm not sure. But if you want a few quick build tips, I've got those in a different video. I'll put a link to that. I do a few extra little things on these, like I put a bit of foam just on top of here. Any points of impact, I like to put foam. And a lot of electrical tape and zip ties. It's not the prettiest thing. These have been crashed, these have flown at abandoned buildings a lot and things like that. So they're not the most beautiful quads, but this is a system that really works. It performs really well. I'll put the rates and the PIDs that I use on the screen as well for this exact setup. So if you're running something similar and you want to see exactly what rates and PIDs that I'm using, I'll put those on the screen for you. I use the UMA grip. It's basically really sticky stuff that I put on the top plate to keep the battery stuck on really nicely. And I'm using these Ethics battery straps, which are pretty good. They last a while and they look quite good. Yeah, it's a battery strap. It works. Got to keep your battery plugged in, really important. If you haven't seen my little XT60 trick yet, where you put wire inside, check it out on another video. There you go. I'm going to go fly these things and have fun. Thanks for watching. See you next time.